So today we're going to look at how to delete items in ScienceBase using the ScienceBase API and the delete method. This is a scenario where we've got 3,389 items that are part of this, that are child items for this historical topographic maps, low resolution scan map series that we want to delete because we're going to reharvest those using a different process. So looking at these items, we can go explore all of the items by clicking this link over here. Pretty much any way that you can get to a search result for the items that you want to delete will work just fine. Pull up the JSON view so we can see the underlying JSON for this, and we can toggle this just a little bit by telling the REST API here that we want just the ID field, because that's really all we need to delete these items. And since we've got 3,000 some odd, let's just say max equals 4,000, just so we get all of the items together here in one big result set. So give that a second to load up. Then we can save this guy, save this page, just dump it out here someplace, and then we can open that up. In this case, I'm going to open this up into a little particular app called Power JSON Editor. Doesn't really matter where you do this. You can do this in your basic text editor just to create a simple structure to take a look at here. If you want to get fancy with this, if you're deleting a whole bunch of items at once, you can clean up your file a little bit and get rid of all of this extraneous stuff, because really all you need in any one of these records is the ID itself. So we might do that real quick. We'll save this guy, go over here and open up that file, and this time I'm going to open it up in another little Windows app I use called Text Wrangler. We've got a couple different options here. We can process lines containing URL, which is essentially the only unique thing we want to get rid of. It dumps those lines out, and then we can grab up the rest of this junk that we want to get rid of, just the cruft off the top. Find all of that stuff any place it happens to be, and wipe those guys out. And then we've got ourselves a nice clean JSON file to start with. So we can go open that guy back up over here. We might compact it a little bit just to make a smaller set of bytes to send back up to the server. We're going to grab all of this text. Then we're going to go over and use an HTTP client to make this connection. This is an app called Graphical HTTP Client for Mac. You can use the REST client in Firefox. You can use a lot of different things. I like this one because it's easy to use, does a couple other fancy whiz-bang things that we don't really need in this case. So we're going to throw in our URL to the item service. This is really the service that we're trying to work against. In this case, I'm working on beta, but we could do this in production, wherever it happened to be that we had to do something. One thing to note, in order to complete this operation, you have to have permissions to all of the IDs that you're getting ready to delete. So as long as you've got that, if you're deleting stuff that you have, you're not going to have any problem passing the delete operation to the server and getting this done. A couple things you need to add in order to complete this, tell the API exactly what it's supposed to do. You have to include the accept header application whack JSON in order to tell it that you're sending a JSON, which it's going to expect. You do have to provide authentication. This is one of the reasons I like this client. It lets me do individual preemptive authentication, so that sorry, I can't type password and speak at the same time. So it passes authentication with the request to dump everything up online. I think I better type that in just one more time because I, no doubt screwed it up. All right, so I use an account that has access to do what I want, packages up my little authorization string, sets the accept header, and now I want to go drop in the body of 3,000 some odd items that I want to delete. If I want to kind of pay attention to what's going on, I can pop back over here and maybe I'll just set Set my response just to drop back those first few items. I see there's 3,389 items. I go back over to my graphical HTTP client. Go ahead and make sure my method is set to delete. I'm going to the items controller. I've got my accept header, my authorization string. I've got my request body with all of my items in it, and now I'm ready to rock and roll. So I'll send my request. It's going to take a couple seconds to load that up to the server, and then we should start seeing some of these items disappear here. There we go. So it's loaded up to the server. Items are starting to drop off the list. Now we're down to 3,000 some odd items, and drop down below 3,000 items. So this is cranking along pretty quick. We can go back and check status over here. In just a minute, we're going to finish up this request, and we'll have all 3,000 some odd of these items will be gone, and we'll see a response back to the client here telling us just how long it took to complete that. There we go. So that took about 36 seconds altogether to delete those 3,389 items. Come back over here. There's 0 items now in that request. If we go back and look at that particular item we were seeing there earlier, you can see there are no child items left over here. If we look at the folder view, there's nothing in there either. So that's it. Pretty simple. If you need to do a batch delete, really all you need to do is grab up the IDs that you want to delete. You can do that in a lot of different ways. This was one quick way, using the basic user interface stuff to grab up the IDs you want to delete. And there's lots of different ways to use different REST clients, various ways of connecting to the API, and you'll be finished. So there you go.